Our next story is from Tanzania. President Samia Suluhu Hassan has justified the killing of protesters during the recent election unrest. Hassan said that the crackdown on protesters was necessary to prevent the overthrow of the government. In her defense, Hassan claimed that the killings were not excessive.
Most of the demonstrators kept gaining momentum and heading in the wrong direction. Our police forces were forced to employ substantial force to control the situation. Were we supposed to simply watch that mob of demonstrators who were prepared to overthrow the government until they succeeded? Would that still be a functioning state? That is not how a state operates. What took place were not demonstrations. It was simply chaos.
Hassan made these remarks in a speech in Tanzania's economic capital, Dar es Salaam. The country went to the polls on the 29th of October. Hassan retained presidency with 98% of the vote, while the main opposition candidates were either jailed or disqualified. Critics have alleged that the elections were also rigged. According to the opposition and rights groups, over 1,000 people were shot dead during 3 days of protests over the elections. Hassan's government is yet to give an official death toll. Reports say bodies of many of the people who died during the unrest were never returned to their families and instead were hidden in mass graves. The UN has called for an investigation into the killings, while the European Parliament wants to block aid to the East African nation. President Hassan reacted to these remarks in her speech. She accused foreign powers of a colonial attitude for condemning the poll violence.
We witness similar thing in other nations. Now when they accuse us of using too much force, what exactly did they expect us to do? Should we say they were the ones who were sponsoring those demonstrations? They still think they are our masters, they are our colonizers, just because they support us with some money as aid.
Hassan's government has been widely criticised for its crackdown on dissent and opposition figures. Opposition parties have accused the authorities of a campaign of abductions and murders in the run-up to the recent vote. Critics allege that even low-level online critics of the ruling party were not spared, but President Hassan continues to deny such allegations. In her recent speech, she claimed that opposition candidates were not barred from taking part in the election, but they themselves backed out as their chances of winning were slim. In her speech, President Hassan also said that she would not bow to pressure from Western nations to release opposition firebrand Tundu Lissu. He has been in detention since April on treason charges, which carry the death penalty. As political tensions continue to rise in the country, fresh protests have been called for the 9th of December, which marks Tanzania's Independence Day. President Hassan has warned that security forces were ready to tackle any fresh demonstrations. Public anger is mounting in Tanzania, and so is the international backlash against Hassan's government. It remains to be seen what happens on December the 9th. Will the demonstrations diffuse or further heighten tensions in Tanzania?
Claimed to be Africa's strongman. History calls me something else. The dictator. Who am I?